What's going on, YouTubers? Anthony Davis here. Before I get involved in this chapter, I just want to say thank you all. Me having 102 subscribers is great. I hope to get more soon. But it's a process. I'm not trying to like be the greatest YouTube reviewer or the best reviewer of anything having to do with like tokusatsu or Sentai or Power Rangers and none of all that stuff, like or anime, anything in particular. I just want to do videos for fun. It's my thing. I wish I could add more time to do it because I'm constantly having to work. I need to, soon later I'm going to get a better schedule and then I'll be able to do my videos exactly as I want to. Plus I live with family, so it's not easy, being a reviewer when living with your folks and whatnot. But I just want to say that thank you all for like tuning in and watching my videos, and I got plenty of comments from one of my older videos, the one where I was talking about how Ichigo doesn't have a goal, and people are still continuing to like talk about it. And I'm like, okay, the only thing I don't like is I don't like people reviewing old videos I've already stated before. Like even with the whole Naruto thing, with the whole Naruto opening 10 thing, Naruto Shippuden opening 10. I'm sorry. I mean, it's in the past. I mean, yeah, Ichigo still doesn't really exactly have a goal besides protecting his friends, but I mean, who cares? I mean, he'll eventually. I mean, somehow Kubo will eventually give him a goal, and we'll do with that. But anyway, I'm gonna do a two-parter chapter since I missed doing chapter review for last week. I'm gonna do now chapter for this week, and a lot has happened in both these chapters, and I want to talk about them both as a whole, as two chapters in a whole, because a lot has happened, and I'm gonna be very detailed with this chapter whatsoever with both of them. Okay, I'm gonna start off with 510, 520, and then I'm gonna go to 521. Apparently, in 520, Kyotoku gets a letter. And now comes in and she's asking the captain like, what's wrong and what are you doing here? And Kyoku's basically saying like, well, this might be the last time I see you, and we see a letter that's stating that he is now the captain commander, the 1st Division captain. And it's like what? Like I mean I knew he would. I called it because I remember last chapter. I knew one of those guys was going to be captain. It was either going to be Kyotoku, Ukitake, or Unohana, and I was actually correct. I was like, yeah, it was going to be Kyotoku. I mean, yeah, like he may have the one eye patch, but then you know what? He's a badass pirate captain commander. Let me stop. But anyway, so he's now the captain commander now. That means that possibly that they're gonna have like somebody else replace Kyoku's position because the 8th Division is without a captain right now. So this is the perfect opportunity for someone else to step up and become a captain for Squad 8. Hopefully it's gonna be somebody we know, like somebody that's been on the series for a while and like has the potential to become a captain but hasn't quite reached that level yet. That's what I'm hoping for. Meanwhile, in the Soul Palace, Ichigo's still being still in the hot tub with Kyujin, the 0th Division captain of his little palace. When Ichigo is with him, he's actually being drowned by 2 of his subordinates. I forgot what the names were, but they proceed to like keep making him hold his breath down there and see how long he can last his breath. And Ichigo makes his comment, at least like, well, why the hell were you doing this for? And like, hey, didn't your mom ever teach you not to teach you to hold your breath for a very long time? He's like, dude, no one ever teaches their kid. What kind of crazy psycho would do this to their kids? I mean, for real. And it's funny little banter. And then the guy proceeds to let go of Ichigo for a minute, and like Kyujin actually manages to actually like punch Ichigo and like send him flying across somewhere. And he's like, what the hell was that for? And Kyujin basically said, well, you're healed. And he's like, what? He's like, yeah, you're healed. I mean, if my punch my punch was supposed to kill you. So if you manage to survive that punch unscathed, you're healed. You can get out. You can get out of here. Get the hell out of here. And Ichigo's about to go to the next palace. Well, not next palace, but next city. You know, Sky City or whatever you want to call it. I call them the five different palaces for each of the school the Zero Division members. And Renji decides that he wants to show up too. We see him walk up, and Kyujin's like, I can take your punch too, and Kyujin punches him, and he's like, you call that a punch? Yeah, right. Renji's kind of like Renji. We kind of see that Renji, yeah, he is, he able to take that punch, but he was shaking. That panel where you see his hand like kind of shivering, that was actually Renji. Cringy is, because he was shaking, because even though he survived the punch, it still it may have hurt just like maybe a little bit, not too much, but a little bit, where he's like, fuck that. He's like, that shit hurt. That really hurt. Yeah. So they go to the next palace, and they're like, well, wait a minute, why can't y'all get your better transportation or something? I mean, seriously, do this every time. And Kyujin's subordinates take off their suits, and we see like a whole bunch of scars like all over their bodies. And that's just because, well, the hot springs actually dissolves your reishi and allows your reishi, and like you can't really survive it unless you, of course, like you have like a lot of spiritual pressure. Since they had to wear like protective gear to keep themselves from getting severe damage, it still wasn't enough because they still have scars, still have bruises and stuff on their bodies, while Ichigo and Renji have none, because actually they actually managed to not have any scars on their bodies at all, and they were completely naked. So that's really something. And which is not, it's not really like, surprising, because, well, Ichigo is the main character and Renji is the rival slash secondary character, so of course, they're gonna be, doing stuff similar. And then we find out that we don't know exactly when this happens, but like apparently Kyujin proceeds to actually try to like hit Ichigo like before, and has a bruise on his hand because like, apparently he like proceeded to dodge it, and like it was able to like resist the punch and give him a bruise on his arm, on his hand. And he's like, that kid's something. No wonder the Soul King wants to like is impressed with him. Well, is interested in him, I should say. And then at the end of chapter 520. We see that Kyoraku is actually talking to the Central 46 and discussing matters of his promotion and what conditions he wants at his position. He decides that he wants to have both Nanao and Okinawa, the third seat of Squad 1, to become both his lieutenants. So he's gonna be like the first captain to actually have two lieutenants on his in his squad. Well, you could say co-captains, co-vice captains, you could say. And Physical 46, they're like, well, no, that's kind of like stupid. Why? I'm not gonna agree to this. But then Kyoraku says, well, didn't you say that, like, if I was to become captain, that whatever I needed, I can get, because we're in a time of war here. We need more, and I need two lieutenants, because I mean Akiba has been in the first division longer than I have. I need her now because she's my current lieutenant. I cannot just abandon her. She is my lieutenant. She's been there for me. I'm not gonna just go to the first captain position and leave her behind. No, I'm not gonna do that. So I'm gonna have both of them, because, well, he's more experienced and she's my lieutenant. I'm used to having so yeah, I want both of them. Whatever. And he also makes another condition where he basically wants to teach Kenpachi the way of the sword. And of course, they're going to be going all hell no, like fuck that. They basically said, well, if Kenpachi learns the right way to how to fight and use a sword and all that stuff, he'll pose more of a threat, and he might even be smart enough to be like, well, I may want to rebel and cause more destruction. Um, but then Kyoku says, well, hey, it's a chance we got to take. I mean, you want to win this war, we need to have Kenpachi become a better fighter, because we're down a head. We lost our original head captain. You mean to tell me that you're not willing to, you know, teach Kenpachi how to fight better so that we can actually win this war? I'm not saying that we should, like, you're basically saying that we shouldn't do anything and just let them come back and kill us off again. That's what it's basically saying. And then we finally get a revelation that you guys remember back in the way back in the chapters earlier, where Kenpachi stated that he named Yatru after someone he mostly admired his entire life. That person is Retsu Unohana. Well, actually, no, matter of fact, no. Yatru Unohana. Yes. Retsu Unohana's name is actually Yatru, and she is the first. He was the first Kenpachi, and is I guess how the strongest Shinigami. So which means that both Yamamoto is the strongest, while she was like right up there with him. So I'm guessing that like back in her old days, she was a killer. Like she just didn't give a fuck who you were. She's gonna cut you down. Period. Which means that her Zabato must have like maybe had some alternate changes, because maybe like it wasn't always like the healer type. Maybe it was the most. It was like a what you call it. Maybe it was like a melee type Keto type Zanbato, which is interesting. And we come to find out that she's gonna teach Kenpachi how to fight, basically, and that ends that chapter. With this chapter that's coming up, that's 521, they go to Hikifune's palace, which she proceeds to actually feed both Renji, Ichigo, and Kon was actually there too, because Kon sneaks in Ichigo's shirt and pops out of nowhere while they're falling, and uses his big muscle transformation to break their fall. Yeah, she shows up and she's like all happy to see them and all that stuff, and she proceeds to cook them like this big feast, and they're just like eating major portions of it, and just eating, and then come to find out that when she cooks, she uses all of her her spiritual pressure, and it slims her down so where she's actually looks very skinny, or like she's skinny and she's like very curvaceous now. Like she's the Curio we wanted to see, the sexy chick that Shinji told us about earlier. Like she didn't always look like that. She looked she was more attractive. And I gotta say, like, yeah, she didn't really look good. My jaw dropped. I was like, what? I mean, I figured it might have happened, but like it's a shock to me too. I was hoping that like she was just gonna be like this big girl we were gonna see for like the rest of the series and stuff. But hey, she looked good, whatever. And the food that she gives them actually gives them more spirit energy, and they can see the results because they can feel it in their bodies. And we actually discover how the Zero Division members got their titles, simply because they did something before they went to the Spirit Palace, something that changed the Soul Society. That's something that contribute to make Soul Society better for everybody. She was the one that created the Gikongai, the artificial souls, the Gigais, and all that stuff. All that was made by Hikifune herself. So she kind of sort of made the 12th division the science division in a way. She's kind of like the benefactor before even Kisuke Uehara himself, because he's the one that actually changed the 12th division and made it into a science division. So she's basically like, I guess you could say he was inspired by her to to make this you know, scientist vision. I don't know why I hesitated that time. It was off the tip of my tongue. And then we come to find out that Kyujin, you know, that he's a healer, so he found numerous new ways of healing, and we come to find out later on that Imaya, I think his name is Imaya, I think his name was the next palace they're gonna go to. We come to find out that he is actually the birth giver of the Zanpakuto, which means that this guy literally may be older than Yamamoto, because I mean, that's crazy. So basically, this guy is what made the Zanpakuto what they are today. I'm not, maybe he found a way for spirits and their spirits without a body to manifest themselves to swords, and for the partner and the Shinigami and the sword and the Zanpakuto to become, you know, one with themselves. I guess maybe that's what he did, or maybe he gave them a way to use Zanpakuto. I guess I'm not sure if he actually like made a Zanpakuto and was like, well, hey, this is how you manifest a Zanpakuto. This is what you do. Like giving instructions and all that shit. But I want to see more of this. We probably might not get a chapter next week because, you know, it's holidays, so I might not be able to like do any videos whatsoever next week. So I'm gonna do everything I can for either today and tomorrow, and you know, all that stuff. So I gave this chapter 4 out of 5. It was really interesting. Both chapters were fantastic. A lot's happened. Captain Commander Kyotoku for the win. First Kenpachi Unohana for the win. Teaching Kenpachi how to use the art of killing, which it kind of confused me when I first read that panel. I was like, okay, Kenpachi already knows how to kill, but it's like, I guess maybe to refine his skills more so that he's able to like use kendo or use both hands when he's, you know, using his sword. And maybe possibly he may learn his Shikai, learn the name of his Shikai, and possibly learn Bankai. Who knows? Oh yeah, now this little thing about Yamamoto actually did teach Kenpachi like for a day, but he was like, you know what, fuck it, because it's too much. It was too much for me. That's what they basically said. You guys comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and you can also find me on Google Plus. And if you want to do hangouts and stuff like that with me and some of my other friends on there, you can. Just go on Anthony Davis. I actually put all of the links below, so you'll be like, wow, like this is everything. So peace, sayonara, and remember, you don't get past the bullshit. You gotta get to the good stuff. Peace.